Hey, BookTube, Sean here, and today I'm going to be doing my TBR for Nonfiction November. Uh, this is a month-long kind of readathon hosted by Olive at a Book Olive and Gemma at Nonfic Books, and I will link both of their announcement videos in the description. But the idea of this readathon is it's not about how many books you can read. It's just about adding nonfiction to your reading. Like if you basically to read more nonfiction than you would normally read. So like if you read no nonfiction, read a nonfiction book in the month, and you've participated in Nonfiction November. So I actually have a stack of books here. I would like to. A couple of them I definitely am going to get to. The rest are just kind of options. I mentioned this in my part 2 of my October book haul that I'm not setting a goal to read a certain number of nonfiction books. I just want to always have a nonfiction book going at least through this month, at least through the month of November, because I enjoy reading nonfiction and I just don't ever add it to my reading. So this is a really good way to add it to my reading. And I think ultimately I'd like to continue on past the month of November with always having a nonfiction book going. Even if I only end up reading one in a month, at least I always have one going. But I'm going to try to get to a few this month. I know I've talked about needing to read a couple of books for my Reddit Fantasy Bingo, but and I'll talk about this once I make more decisions on this in a update video. But I'm kind of rethinking my commitment to that a little bit. But that's talk for another time. This is my Nonfiction November TBR. The first couple of books are the books I'm pretty sure I will get to. I'm pretty confident I can read both of them within the month, and the rest are kind of going to be my options for what to pick up next when I finish those. So it's going to be a lot of options because I always like to have a lot of options, and I have a lot of nonfiction that I haven't gotten to. My classic movie star biographies definitely not not even withstanding on that. That just increases my number like 20-fold. But if I'm even not counting my classic movie star biographies that I collect, I have a lot of nonfiction that I have and have not gotten to. But anyway, the first book I'm going to be picking up, this is definitely happening as I really want to read this, and it looks like Julia, a girl in a book, is going to read it with me. She hit me up in the comments of a video and said, "Hey, I want to read that with you." So I think she's picking it up from the library, and we're gonna read it. I told her I'm starting it like right at the beginning of the month. So, Soul of an Octopus by Cy Montgomery, and this is about octopuses, and I've heard really good things about this book. I said in another video, people have said that you wouldn't expect a book about octopuses to be so engaging, and it really is. But everyone I've heard talk about this book has absolutely loved it. So I'm excited to get to it. And I got this through my work rewards program. I got rewarded some points, and I went, and whenever I get awarded points, I go in and buy books with my points. And I was flipping through it, and then I saw something down in the corners that I thought was really cool. And down in the corners, I hope this shows up, there's like a little flip book of an octopus. It's so cool. I thought that was really cool. I made my wife look at that too as soon as I saw it. But that's the first book I'm definitely getting to for Nonfiction November. And on the BookTuber Discord server that James Chatham kind of administrates, he started a book club on there, and the pick of the month pick for the month of November was When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. And I believe this is about his struggles with cancer and his dealing with cancer, and he passed away before he finished writing this book. And I've heard, again, really, really good things about this book. So I'm kind of been intrigued to read it. So would like to get to this for that book club pick for the month of November. So those are the two that I will definitely get to. I'm not even questioning. I'm going to get to those two books in the month of November. My other options for if there's nonfiction November left and I need to pick something else up, or like I said, if I just decide to continue this on throughout, just my reading life of just always having a nonfiction book going. One that I definitely still want to read, did not get to it in October. I didn't really get to anything that I had talked about getting to in October. I finished one book so far, and I probably will finish another one before the month is over. So I'll end up with a 2-book October. But with the trip in there, I just didn't, been getting some reading time back. But we did not get to The Devil in the White City, and I still really want to get to this book. For those who haven't heard me talk about it before or don't know what this is the story. It's 2 stories. One about the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago, and also about serial killer H.H. Holmes and how he used the 1893 World's Fair to lure victims into his murder castle. So really want to get to this book. Another one that's going to be an option I have out from the library. I checked it out before I went to New England, and I took it with me, but like I said, I didn't really read much when I was there. But it's The Witches, Salem 1692 by Stacy Schiff, and this is about the history of Salem with the Salem witch trials, and what went on in 1692 with people accusing people of being witches, and just the massive amounts of numbers of accusations, and just a history of the Salem witch trials. And I thought it'd be cool to be reading it while I was in, because I went to Salem for the last couple of days. So I thought it'd be cool to read while I was over there, but didn't get any reading done. But I'm still definitely very interested in reading this. Another option, I didn't, depending on how I'm feeling and what I'm feeling like picking up, is The Girls of Atomic City by Denise Kiernan. And this is about women who worked in the factories where the atomic bombs were built. And just seems like a really, really interesting story, and an area of history and an area of the war that you don't see a lot written about. There's more being written about it now than ever has been, but the men were away at war, so the women had to man the factories, and it was really, really the start of the women's working movement, the women's right to work movement. And because when the men came back, they were expected to just give up those jobs and let the men have them, and the women didn't want it. The women wanted to work. They wanted to keep those jobs, and they didn't feel it was right that just because the men were home, that they suddenly had to go back to manning the house. So that time when the women were manning the factories it was really a landmark time for women's rights, and this just sounds like a really interesting book about the women who kind of helped build the bombs. And this is another one I got from my work rewards program. So that's definitely an option. Another option I'm thinking about, would like to get to soon. I got this from the Book of the Month Club, so this is in one of my recent hauls. American Fire by Monica Hesse, and this is about a series of arsons that happened in Accomack County, Virginia, and it's about the town dealing with the fires, about the people who committed the arsons and their story and why they did it. So it's a true crime novel, and it sounds really interesting. And I like true crime novels, and it's different to have a true crime novel that's not about murderers. So that's going to be really interesting too, to read a true crime novel about a crime other than murder. And that's the physical ones I have that I'm thinking about. I have some other ones on my Kindle that are going to be options too. Lost City of the Monkey God by Douglas Preston, which is about an expedition to find a lost civilization. So that sounds really interesting. If I want to add a little bit of humor to it, I have Felicia Day's memoir, You're Never Weird on the Internet, almost. So that could add some humor into my nonfiction reading. I also have one called This Is Your Brain on Music, The Science of Human Obsession by Daniel J. Levitin, and it is about what music does to our brains and why it's important, and what's behind the emotional connections that we have to music, and just really about how important music is in our lives, and for our souls and for our brains and bodies. So being in the arts myself, that is very interesting topic to me. And I also have H is for Hawk by Helen McDonald, and that is a story. It's not a story. It's a story. A nonfiction book about her adopting and raising a hawk, which is really a predator bird. And it won the Costa Award in blocked my mouse. It won the Costa Award in 2014. And the Costa Awards are part of my award winners project, which I think I am going to make a video about, because I'm changing it up a little bit too. So it's not going to be the same as the blog post I mentioned in a previous video talking about it. So I decided to cut one award out of it, but yeah, I think I will do a video of talking about that and the books that are involved. But H is for Hawk is a Costa Award winner in 2014. So I want to read that for that project, and because it sounds like a really interesting nonfiction book as well. But that's it. I have more nonfiction books, but I had to draw the line somewhere, Couldn't make this a 40-minute video listing all my nonfiction books. But let me know in the comments if you've read any of these, if any of these sound interesting to you. Let me know if you're participating in Nonfiction November, and what you're looking to read for it. I love hearing from you guys in the comments. It's a lot of why I do this is to connect with you guys, to connect with people who love books and form these friendships. So let me know. Leave me a comment. Hook up with me on social media. I don't tweet a lot, but I am still very active on Twitter. I scroll through it a lot and I comment on stuff a lot. I'm trying to get better at actually tweeting, but I usually don't think I really have anything that interesting to say in a tweet. But I'm definitely on. I'm definitely on there much more than I used to be when I started the channel. And hook up with me on Goodreads too. Friend request me on Goodreads. Yeah, hook up with me. Leave me comments. I love talking to you guys. Anyway, that's it. And I will see you all in my next video. I wish you all good reading.